Russos brand family. We are family.
Oh my God! That's right, people. We're going extreme on Wrestling with the Locals today. I am Gabriel Devine, and he is Titanic. And we have a huge star coming on the show today. He's been an ECW heavyweight champion. He's been a WWE light heavyweight champion when it was WWF. He's been
Ring of Honor World Champion.
Yeah. NWA Tag Champion with AJ
Global.
Styles and Amazing Red, the Global Heavyweight Champion. He's held a number of titles all over the world. He's wrestled some of the biggest names in the business. He's wrestled a lot of the indie stars around here in Arkansas. Ladies and gentlemen, we have none other than the original Ho Effin' Show, Jerry Lynn, coming on today.
He is the new Effin' Show.
The new Effin' Show.
Yeah, because he beat Rob Van Dam, and he turned around and told himself that he is the new Effin' Show.
Well, there it is. Straight out of the mouth of Jerry Lynn himself. He is the new Effin' Show, and we have him right here on our podcast for you, Jerry Lynn, the extreme new Effin' Show.
We will have him as soon as we get right back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, I am Gabriel Devine. He is Titanic, and we have on the phone Mr. Jerry Lynn. Jerry, how you doing?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Doing great. We are so honored that you took time out to come on Wrestling with the Locals with us. It's just a huge honor, man. Thank you for coming on.
The honor is all mine. Thanks for having me on.
So, I've been doing a little bit of homework on you today, and I noticed that you started in March of 1988.
Yes.
So, how did you get your start, and who was your first match?
Well, I guess I was, for a regular job, laying telephone cable underground. And a guy I was working with, we were working out together at a gym. And he found out about Brad Riggins was throwing together a camp at the last minute, offered a discount. So we jumped all over that. So I took out a loan and went to Brad's camp, and that's how it all started. And then worked quite a bit for Ed Sharkey, doing a bunch of indies, and well, I guess if you go to the first match was a small independent doing a TV taping in Newell, Minnesota. And I did 3 matches that night, actually, on the first night I wrestled. First match was a tag match against a tag team called the Terminators. And there was a couple of big, well, back then everyone was big boys. So, but needless to say, I was scared to death, but made it through, survived. And then the second match was a 6-man tag against this Derek Dukes, Steve Olsanowski, and Tom Zink.
I loved watching Tom Zink growing up.
Yeah, very smooth wrestler. And the third match was against Tom Burton, a guy I went to camp with. So that was more of a little more competitive match instead of just a squash match.
Right.
But then, and then after that, then I started working a lot for Ed Sharkey, doing a bunch of indies around the Midwest. I did some TVs for the old AWA for Bergania. Tom and I would go set up the ring, do a few squash matches, tear down the ring and bring it back. And then I did a couple TVs for the WWF back then also.
Yeah, I noticed you wrestled for the AWA. What was your name in the AWA?
Just Jerry Lynn.
Okay, because gosh, I mean, it's been a long time. I used to watch the classic and everything, and I guess they never showed you anything that I don't remember.
Yeah, I could never think of a wacky gimmick or a good showbiz name. So I just used my name.
Well, I know you. When did you come to Memphis?
Well, what happened there was Ed Sharkey and Dennis Terlingwell from out east did a couple combined shows in Minneapolis, and I always kept with me some VHS tapes and 8x10s and resumes because you never know. And that's where I first met Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert at one of those shows. And I think I may have given him my info. I had to give him my info somehow because he called me up and asked me if I'd want to come down and work in Memphis. So that was all because of Eddie. He's the one that got me down to the LUSWA in Memphis.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I also noticed you, yeah, like I said, I did some homework on you. I noticed you did some stuff in the WWF. Then you went to Dallas and worked at Sportatorium.
Yeah, that was like first I went to, I think it was over the winter of 90 and 91. I was working for Memphis, and then when I went so much in debt, I thought, okay, time to get a regular job again. And then the next winter, Eddie Gilbert again called me up, and he knew about the feud I had with X-Pac. Well, he was Lightning Kid at the time.
Right.
And he called and asked if we'd want to do our feud down there. And so they were using a lot of Tennessee wrestlers. So I moved back to Nashville, and we would drive to Dallas every weekend and do the global TV.
Was the GWF lightweight title, was that your first like major title that you ever won?
Yeah, you could say that. I had some titles on the Indies, but that was probably pretty much the nationwide high profile one. That's
cool. Yeah, I was reading it and I saw the Lightning Kid and I was like, oh wow, man, there's so much notable people that I recognized and everything, and I was like, wow, a long time ago, I remember when the World Class was running, they went to the GWF and all the other stuff, and I mean, there was a lot of good wrestling. I was like, man, I do, remember him being around because, I mean, growing up, I'm Channel 5,
Yeah, there's a lot of, besides, it seems like everyone had gone through Memphis, there's a lot of stars that came out of Global also, like Harlem Heat, and Raven was there when he was Scotty 2 Hottie, and I can't even remember all of them.
Yeah, I remember when Raven, he was going back and forth to Memphis and Dallas and
Scotty 2 Hottie, I'm sorry. It was
Scotty Flamingo.
I've been hitting the head a lot.
I use that excuse all the time.
And it's legit.
Right.
So, where did you go after you left Dallas?
Then what happened there was I had broken my ankle just before going there, and I started wrestling too soon. I didn't take enough time off for it to heal up. So the whole time working for Global, my ankle was bothering me really bad. So I just went back to Minneapolis and let it heal up a little bit. And that's when Sean and I started going to Japan quite a bit for this lucha style company. I think it was called Universal Pro. But so we started going to Japan quite a bit for them. And then after that, doing that and some indies. And then I think did that for a few years, and then finally ended up in WCW.
And I didn't know, but I just found out. I was listening to a podcast with Tony Schiavone, and that's how I found out you was Mr. JL, right?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty obvious.
I never knew, never ever knew. I tried to ask. I asked my buddy here. I was like, "Hey, I got a question for you," and he goes, "Okay." I said, "Who was JL?" He goes, "Jerry Lynn." I'm like, "Okay, well, I feel stupid."
Now I'll jokingly tell some fans, I'll say, "No, that was Jushin Liger."
Jushin Liger.
But even I thought the name was lame, but and I thought it was so obvious that it was me, so I'd run around in the ring yelling, "Viva Mexico" and stuff like that to try and throw people off.
That's awesome. Now you got to work with some guys, and when you went to the WWF and you won the light heavyweight title there, right?
Yeah, it was in my first TV in Chicago against Crash Holly.
So how was it? So what's it like working for the Machine?
It's a job. And, for me, the politics take all the fun out of it for me. So, then it was just a job. It wasn't, great. Some people have a great experience there, and for me, I didn't, because right after I got there is when they bought WCW. So now they had twice as many guys as they needed. And they had, I think it was about 6 months in, I was doing dark matches with guys getting tryouts, and I got one of those needed t-shirts to get off. They said I'd be out. I knew when I got hurt, I was very expendable because, a lot of the guys that came from WCW were already big time superstars,
Right.
And I was still trying to climb my way up the ladder. So when I got hurt, I knew I was very expendable. And sure enough, 3 months after my knee surgery, I got released.
Oh, wow. It seems like they pretty much release everybody when they're down and hurt.
Well, you got to look at it as it depends on how much money and time they've invested in you.
Right.
And if they really have you written in as one of their marquee players, Because if you're not, you're pretty much a toy. And when the toy is broke, bring on the new toy.
See, when I was a kid, I just put super glue on them.
Well, I found out that was a lot easier to do instead of going to an emergency room and waiting 3 hours to get stitches. You may as well just glue it shut.
Right. Now, the time that I really knew about you was in ECW.
Uh-huh.
Your matches with Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, that really got us a lot of attention, me especially. And, it kind of started with Just Incredible. I had a fun feud with him, and then it sort of turned into a feud with Rob, and then with Lance Storm, and there's a lot of fun guys to wrestle there. I had wrestled on one of those combined shows with Ed Sharkey and Dennis Ribbons, so I got to wrestle Chris Candido for the first time, and he was always a blast to wrestle. And he was actually, Chris Candido was my first match in ECW up in Waltham.
Oh, wow.
Just outside of Boston. So, yeah, it was a good time.
I'd watched a couple of the matches a while ago with you and Rob. One of them was at the Hammerstein Ballroom. I think that was y'all's last match against each other.
Oh, that was the last pay-per-view for ECW, wasn't it?
Guilty as charged?
Was that where I was wearing the bicycle shorts?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot to bring my tights, so I had to wear the Musketeers workout pants. And they were too big around the waist, so I had to take black electrical tape and tape them on around my waist so it would come down.
I've done that shit before.
I was wrestling in a match one night, and we had changed gear. I was doing a tag team, and I forgot my belt. And I was like, well, it'd be all right. I'll just pull my pants up real good and everything and snug them on the sides. Well, when I did, I took my first bump. I saw the button go flying up in the air, and I was like, oh, man.
Oh, no.
So then I had to try to figure out how I was going to keep my pants up.
Yeah, you're like a one-armed wrestler then.
Right.
Yeah, the guys were like, come on, man, you're better than this. Come on. I'm like, I can't. My pants will fall off.
You know what? Some wrestling trunks are smaller than underwear. You just took them off.
Nope.
Right.
I did a thing in the AAW in Chicago one time when I turned heel, and I was pretending like I couldn't wrestle because I was hurt. And then I jumped the guy. I think it's Rashi Brown, and he's a big boy too. And we did a thing where I was scrambling to get away from me. He grabbed my sweatpants and yanked them off, and I had these boxers on underneath, and I wrestled the rest of the match in my boxers. And
Yeah.
of course, they had turtles all over them, and they said slow and steady.
Well, see,
I tried to make it as humiliating as possible.
That's good. That's good shit right there.
I know when I was wrestling for Moondog Spot, he said, boy, we're going to have to do something. He said, your shorts always come down and nobody wants to see your underwear. So I went out and I bought me a pair of boxers that had Winnie the Pooh on them. And I turned around, and when my shorts came down a little bit, he turned around. I got back in the back. He goes, "Damn, Winnie the Pooh, really?" I said, "The chicks out in the front row really liked it."
Yeah, you gotta make it fun.
If you ain't having fun, it ain't worth doing.
Ain't that the truth?
So, how long was your tenure with ECW?
I was there, I think it started September of 97, and I was there till the end.
You got any funny stories or memories that you want to share?
Oh, gosh.
It was the ECW arena.
A lot of those days are fuzzy.
Right.
I guess, I think the first time, I think it was Pensacola, Florida, maybe? It was the first time we were there. Was it Pensacola? Ah, gosh. Anyway, the building was on this waterfront. And on the end of the one building was a stage. And the couple double doors at the back of the stage that led down into the locker room. It was like a big room that was wide as the whole stage.
Wow.
So we had Lance, I was there when Lance Storm put her bags and all got his spot. And we decided to go check out the water and stuff and take a walk. It's a beautiful day. We come back in and everyone's surrounded. All the crew, the bunch of them are surrounded the double doors at the back of the stage going in the locker room. We're like, what's going on? They're going, Sandman's naked. And we're like, so? He's always getting drunk and naked. So I go in there. Here he is. He has a cigarette in one hand, a beer in the other, and he's wearing nothing but a fanny pack.
Oh, shit.
And I just watch him wander around. First he walks over to Wall Field and is playing video games. He's got some headphones on. And he goes over and lifts up his fanny pack and sets his boot cup on his shoulder. And of course Bill jumps. And then we watch him wander over to Simon Diamond's bag. Simon gets dressed. And he walks over to him, and next to his stuff is, of course, Don Marie's bag. And he grabs a brush out of Don Marie's bag, lifts up his pouch, and starts brushing his bush.
Oh, my God.
Brush back. And then goes, like, Simon's not going to say anything, you know. And so it was just, you know, Sandman being Sandman. Well, when it came time for the match, I think it was a 6-man. And it was against Jack Victory, Steve Carino, and maybe Rhino. And it was Dreamer, Sandman, and Jerry, I think. So they all, you know, the heels go to the ring, and then the baby faces hit the ring while Steve drops his rope with the cowbell on the ring. I think maybe it had the cowbell. I can't remember or not. Anyway, so Tommy and Jerry start swinging the rope, and Sandman starts jumping rope. Well, the place pops, you know. And so Sandman, you know, he gets his big grip, and he grabs his shorts, pants, like he's going to pull them down. And Tommy, I think he just goes and pulls his pants down. Well, he's still got his underwear up. And the place pops. So Sandman grabs his underwear, and Tommy's going, please, no, don't, because, you know, we'll lose the building probably, you know. And Tommy just says, please don't pull your underwear down. And so Sandman kind of nods, okay, I won't. And as soon as Tommy turns, Sandman drops his underwear too. And of course, his pants and underwear around his ankles, and he's already buzzed up. And so he trips and falls, and then he's like a turtle stuck on his back with his legs underneath. And Jerry's trying to help him get his pants and underwear back up over his knees. And it was just one of the funniest things I've ever seen. That was so hilarious. And it tells a story for all the people in the first 3 rows that bought the Golden Circle tickets.
They got the Golden Circle, all right.
Oh, yeah. I got to see it, you know, Sandman's big brown eye.
You say that. We were in Osceola, Arkansas, and this guy come up to us, and he was a real big guy, okay? He's like, hey, is there any way I could propose to my girlfriend in the ring? So I go to the promoter, and I was like, hey, Dave wants to propose to his girlfriend. He's like, yeah, let him do it. So we got his girlfriend in the ring and everything, and he goes to get in the ring. Yeah. Down goes his drawers. You see nothing but ass. His pants completely just fell right off.
I think he didn't own a belt.
No, he didn't own a belt. And you would think as much booty he had, it would hold him up, but no. It fell all the way down, and me and a few of the guys that were in the ring, we couldn't help but turn around and just start laughing.
Wow.
And
that makes for a memorable proposal.
Right.
Oh no, hold on now. He goes to hit down one knee. Now, you remember when you're a kid, you go to put a quarter in those little machines and you turn them and a little plastic ball comes out and it has a little ring or something in it?
Yep.
Well, they pulled out the little ball. And he proposed to her with a toy ring. I swear to God.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was a real diamond ring.
No, it wasn't real.
Oh, no.
I'm sitting there holding the microphone in front of him. He looks at, you would have swarped it down. He was trying to be Macho Man because he turned around. He goes, baby, this is been the best 2 weeks of my life. Will you marry me? I was like, oh boy.
That's the best 2 weeks of his life. He just signed up for a couple years of hell.
Oh, that was hilarious. Yeah, she did.
Oh, you think any respectable woman would have, if they were proposed to with a toy ring, would have flat out said no?
Well, I don't think she was all there, and and that's fine and dandy and stuff. But like about a week or two later, she came back and she wasn't with him. I was like, "Where's your man at?" Oh, I got rid of him. He's so damn cheap.
Well, yeah.
I said, I figured you figured that out about 2 weeks ago.
I think the proposal was the first clue.
No doubt, right?
Yeah.
So, you ended up going to TNA.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was fun. At first, I had had a lot of fun shooting with AJ Styles because we were, Jerry was kind of looking at like the old school ways of furthering angles because instead of just having two guys yelling with a mic trying to outfront each other, we were doing stuff like jumping each other in back and catering and stuff. And at the restaurant, we would cater a little bit at. And so it was fun doing that because it reminded me of the Dusty and the Four Horsemen when they jump up in the parking lot of the TV studio and stuff.
Right.
So that was fun at the beginning. And then things started to change. And I think, I think their mistake was they were trying to copy Vince. And you're not going to beat Vince at his own game.
No. Now, WCW tried that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard, Tony Schiavone has said, you can't be the generic to the WWF because, it ain't going to work.
No, so, they had an opportunity to give the fans an alternative and something different, and they didn't go that route.
I mean, TNA had a lot of good talent. I mean, now most of them are in the WWE now. But they had Joe and Daniels, you, AJ, Elite Skipper, Low-Key. I mean, geez. I mean, it was a lot of good young talent. I mean, that.
Well, and instead of building up that talent to be their future stars, they would always just hire whoever WWE would release. They'd jump on them and bring them in and use them as the top dogs instead of building up the stars from day one,
I think about the only ones they really built up was was AJ and Samoa Joe.
Yeah, that's about it.
So, out of all your matches, what's the one that you always remember that was the match?
I can't pick just one.
Well, let's pick a couple then.
Oh, well. Well, you know, I really enjoyed some of the matches I had with Just Incredible, and like I said, Lance Storm, and of course, Rob. And early in my career, I enjoyed a lot of the matches and the feud that I had with X-Pac when he was a late kid. And, you know, a lot of the matches I had with AJ and Low Key, some of the three-ways we had. And, one out I always remember the match I had with Steve Carino in LA at the ECW pay-per-view up there when I used his blood for a little illustration on me. But there's a lot of matches. You know, even I've said this before, even if it's just a so-called time filler match, I always try and come up with a moment in the match to give the fans something to remember instead of just, you know, being a generic time filler match. I still try and come up with something that'll hopefully that'll stay with them.
I can't remember what year it was. It may have been 2012. But you was here in Paragould, Arkansas. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was there a couple times, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the big show. They had Austin Idol there, and you and Austin Lane had worked, and I think it was started off as a battle royal or something.
Yeah, I think it did. Yep.
I mean, when I saw you come out, I was like, I sit there, I started elbowing my mom because she wanted to go because she was a big Austin Idol fan. I was like, Mom, I said, that's Jerry Lane. Jerry Lynn, I'm sorry. And she's like, okay. I said, and she's like, okay, because I'm like sitting there all excited. I was like, him and Austin Lane are fixing to tear this place down.
Well, I hope we did.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with Austin a couple times, and he's very smooth and easy to work with.
Oh yeah, I worked with him several times. Yeah, he's always been fun to wrestle.
So, do you have any more road stories that you could tell us?
Oh Lord,
that stick out there for you?
The problem is I need about 2 dozen people to help me remember them. Golly.
I know that feeling, brother.
I can tell you this one. It was when I was in Ring of Honor, and I was still working on quite a few independents, and I was at me and a couple friends, Sean Schultz and Tony Lucasio, his manager, and we did a show out in East Tennessee. And we were in the locker room getting ready. I was taping up my ankles, and I had the Ring of Honor championship at the time, so I had the belt with me, and I set it on I opened up my suitcase, set the belt on the lid of the suitcase, and I started taping my ankles and getting dressed. And I didn't know who I was wrestling yet. And this guy comes up and he says, we're working tonight. I said, okay, and I'm, asking them the usual questions, how long you been wrestling, are you a heel or are you a face? And then I asked him, I go, what's your finish? And he says, you ever watch Ring of Honor? And I look at my buddies, and they're about ready to bust out laughing. They're like holding it in. And I look at the belt. I look up at him. I look at the belt. And I was just in shock. And I didn't know what to say. So I just said, yeah, I try and catch it once in a while. And he says, well, you know who Tyler Black is? And I just got done wrestling him the prior weekend. And I've wrestled him quite a bit before even Ring of Honor. And I said, yeah, he does that cradle thing. He goes, yeah, that's it. And I was just in such shock, I didn't know what to say to the guy. And what I should have said was, I should have picked up the belt and said, do you think this is a toy? Or something. I don't know. But it was, you hear it all. Just when you think you've heard it all, they'll come up with something else.
Right. So, when did you retired? Exactly 25 years later, right? from in-ring competition?
It was like 25 years to the month. So it was in my retirement show was March 23rd of 2013.
And who was that last match with?
That was a 4-way with guys I had feuds with early in my career. So lucky they were still wrestling.
That's awesome.
It was this horse psychopath, J.B. Trask, who was Kenny Sockbuster J's nephew, and X-Pac.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So we had a 4-way and got silly with chairs and ladders and tables and you name it. That just went crazy.
Nice.
Got to go out right.
Now, we watched All In, and we got to see you referee. Tell us about the experience at All In.
Oh, All In was amazing. It was, well, when I first heard that the Bucks and Cody were putting together something, I knew it was going to be something special. So I went down to Ring of Honor here in Nashville when they came by, and I talked to the Bucks, and I asked them, I said, well, you think I could be a ref on the show for a match? And they said, well, sure. They said, give Cody a call. So I called Cody, and he was all for it. So I was glad they let me be on it. I was honored. I mean, it was, and that night was amazing. It was, they sold it out over, what was it, a little over 11,000 people.
Yeah.
Packed, and there was a hot crowd, hot for everything. It was just amazing. It was the first and only time since I retired that I missed wrestling. I wish I was actually wrestling still. Because normally people ask me, do you miss wrestling? I'll say no, because my body shot, and that's why I had no choice in retiring. My body said it was done.
How many injuries have you had throughout your career, Jerry?
Enough where I should have wrote them all down.
Right.
I wish I would have saved every X-ray, every CAT scan, every MRI. I would have framed them all and had lights behind them, and I would have had, instead of the Hall of Shame, the Hall of Pain.
There you go.
And hung them all up on the wall. But it was a lot. I've broken both my feet, both my ankles, both my hands. I fractured my right pelvic bone and tore the ab where it fractured. I hyperextended and dislocated my right arm at the elbow and tore the tricep. And I've had my right knee had surgery on that because I tore the patella tendon. Had my left shoulder, had to get a surgery on that to get a tendon reattached and the rotator cuff. Lower back, I had a ruptured disc that I wanted to take a chunk of disc out. My neck, we had to replace 3 discs and plate and screw the 4 vertebrae back together. Had my left hip replaced, and now January 9th, I'll be getting my right hip replaced.
Oh my
and my nose, I couldn't tell you how many times my nose has been broke. So I'm hoping later on this next year, I'll get my nose fixed too.
Are you sure you're not done wrestling?
Right.
I'm positive.
He says, the hell with that.
Wow.
I'll tell you how many times I've been busted open hard way and stitches and you name it.
Yeah, I had my 5 little stitches from Handsome Jimmy Valiant, and I hurt my back one night where I couldn't walk out of the ring, and I thought that was the most horrible thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
Now that just sounds like a Band-Aid to you.
There's been a few times where I had to get wheelchaired through the airport to the plane, to the gate. But so that's not fun. But it is what it is. It's hard to explain. I always said you got to be off center to be a pro wrestler for a living because the human body wasn't made for it.
Exactly.
And when people say, "Oh, that's fake," I say, "Well, the physicality is all too real." I say, if it was fake, I could still be doing it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's been 9 years since I've really done it, and I wouldn't change anything in the world. I love wrestling, and I loved getting in there and doing it every weekend that I was there, week in and week out. I was ready to go and have a good time, and that was life. Work Monday through Friday, wrestle on Friday and Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Sometimes Sunday. I always wanted to do the wrestle the whole week thing. The closest thing to that was I had a Thursday show in Little Rock. Broke the ring. We were like the third match. We broke the ring. And then Friday night in Osceola, then a Saturday night in Blytheville, then Sunday night in Dixie. And those were the days.
Yeah, the schedule for Memphis was pretty grueling, and a lot of driving, a lot of miles in the car because you're working, six days a week.
Yeah, it was like Memphis on Monday, Louisville on Tuesday, Evansville Wednesday, and
Yep, and then a couple spot shows, and then Saturday morning live TV in Memphis, and Saturday night at the Fairgrounds in Nashville.
right. Yeah, it was always somewhere to go back in them days.
Oh yeah, go go go.
Well, Jerry, I really appreciate you calling and doing the podcast with us, man. It's an honor for us, and we really appreciate it.
Before we go, I want to share a story with you. I met Jerry, and he may not remember it. He was working Austin, and I believe we were either in Newport or Tuckerman at a gym. And of course, me being me, I was probably 16 or 17 at the time when I was riffing. I was nervous as hell because it was Jerry Lynn. Austin said he's cool.
The easy part. You're repping.
Do what?
You had the easy part. You were repping.
No shit. I was worried as shit though because I was like, it's Jerry Lynn, dude. It's just Jerry freaking Lynn. And I was just, I was doing that panic thing like I do when I get my anxiety going. And Austin's like, just go shake his hand and talk to him. He's cool as shit, And so I walk up, I'm like, hi, Jerry, I'm Biscuit. And he starts laughing because of my name because everybody called me Biscuit. And cool as shit. We sit there and talked for a minute. They went over their match with me and gave me the finish. And hell of a fucking match, man. I was blowed up afterwards. They went out there and tore the house down. It was a packed house. And then a few weeks later, they brought Kevin Nash into work. You remember that one?
I remember that.
Yeah. They, which I didn't get to ref that one because I had actually broke my ankle in a four-wheeler accident the next day after the Jerry Lynn match with Austin. But that was a hell of a way to meet him. And as a matter of fact, I do believe I have an autographed picture from Jerry at the house in the box. I've got I think so.
We'll have to put that on the Facebook page.
Yes, we will. I dig through the box. But like he said, Jerry, it has been a fantastic honor to have you on our show. It means the world to us. And, man, you've had a hell of a career.
Well, thank you. Did you have fun during our match?
Oh, man, I loved it.
Well, good. That's the main thing. I'm glad you had fun.
I stood back and watched a lot of it, and I was like, man, I hope one day when I start wrestling, I can be as good as these guys. And sometimes I was pretty decent and could do pretty good, but then I had some back and neck problems, and I had to slow down, and then I had to retire because I've got spinal stenosis in my neck and pinched nerves and stuff, and there's not really much they can do for it.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Once you mess up your spine, that's a whole different ballgame.
Amen. It's miserable.
Well, I want you guys to plug the podcast. Mikey Lippert and I started the podcast, and it's going to be available tomorrow. It's called Front Row Material. So you can find it at, I think it's at FRM Pod. But it should be everywhere where you can find podcasts.
Hell yeah. We'll definitely have to check that out. That's awesome.
Yes, definitely.
And we'll keep plugging that for y'all to help y'all get your name out there. And maybe we can if you can get in touch with Mikey to get him on here, he can come on and do an interview and plug it.
Yeah, I'll let him know.
That'd be awesome to get Mikey on here. I was a fan of his. I loved how they did it. Do what?
Mikey's hilarious. He's the funniest guy I've ever met in the business.
I bet he's got some stories. I used to love him in ECW. I loved how they did him.
Oh, yeah, he's got a ton of stories. and I don't know how he remembers them all. Because I think he's been hit in the head more than me.
Right. If I have one question, and I don't ask this one very often, but I'm gonna ask it of you. If the money was right, and there was a dream match, who would your dream match be if you could come back?
I just put that out on my Twitter. Someone asked me that question. And it would be Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
Oh, man.
That would be awesome.
That would be. I love Eddie.
On my Twitter. At Jerry Lynn.
There you go. Plug anything you got, man. If you've got a website with T-shirts for sale, plug it. That's the whole goal here. Plug anything you want to plug, brother.
Well, we do have we'll be having our front row material merchandise coming out. We'll have T-shirts and probably some 8x10s, and that material will be coming out. I do have a T-shirt shot at Pro Wrestling Tees, and I think there's a few. I think Wolf ED did a picture or a T-shirt for me when I was retiring. And then a couple fans did a couple shirts for me, and I've got a couple more designs that are coming out. And actually, because of All In, I'm doing a new Reference Show shirt. So
there you go.
That'll be coming out at Pro Wrestling Tees. So yeah, everything in the works.
That's awesome, man.
We wish y'all the best of luck on y'all what y'all do, and hope that podcast kicks up like this one has. I mean, we've really surprised how we've done so far in this one.
Man, we started in July, and within what was it, like 3 weeks of podcasting, we had already reached Canada and the UK, and then a couple of weeks later, we're up to like 20,000 listeners.
Now we're over 30.
Yeah, now we're over like 30,000 listeners, and we were on dude, it's awesome. It is. And we were on a live feed. We did a live feed on our Facebook page, and one of our listeners from Pakistan was actually watching our live feed, and we were doing some Q&A with him, and he asked some questions and stuff. It was really cool.
Oh, wow.
It's been pretty awesome.
Hopefully ours will take off. We're going to be having, guests. We'll probably be having, of course, some other ECW guys on there, like Lance Storm, and probably, who knows, Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, but and it's we're not. I'm trying to think how we even describe it. When we were talking about putting it together, Mikey said he wanted it to be like Howard Stern, but without the sex and fart jokes. Whenever Mikey and I get together, we kind of turn into Beavis and Butthead, so I'm sure there'll be some fart jokes.
We know that feeling. Yeah, if you want, send me that link. And I'll post it on our page and everything for y'all and everything.
All right, we'll do. Just remember, it's called Front Row Material.
That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to hear it, man.
All right.
I listen to podcasts at work all night, and it gets me through the night.
Me too.
It's going to be awesome. I hope y'all's takes off. We'll put it over on the show for y'all, and we'll put it out on Twitter for y'all. And when this one gets posted, I'll tag you in it on Twitter so that you can share it with everybody.
Great.
That way you can help us out, and when y'all post yours, I'll share y'all's and help y'all out.
Okay, will do.
Thank you, Jerry. We appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
Man, it's been an honor.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. You have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the former ECW heavyweight champion, former WWF light heavyweight champion. God, the list goes on. This man was fantastic, amazing, and that was a hell of an interview. Man, that's one of the biggest we've done. I mean, we've had Chase Stevens on, and I love Chase. Got all the respect and love in the world for Chase Stevens and what he's done and how he's changed himself in this business. But Jerry Lynn was one of the be-all, end-all. He innovated the lightweight division. He was so coordinated. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to put him over without putting him over too much, but man,
it was great. He's a really nice guy, down to earth, and
oh hell yeah,
I mean, y'all could tell that, and
hell of a wrestler.
I'm glad he was able to give us that time. He took time out of his busy schedule to do that for us, and we really appreciate it.
With that said, we want to thank our sponsors, collarandelbowbrand.com, code CCWA29, saves you 10% off all merchandise. Once again, that website is collarandelbowbrand.com. Go over and check it out. They've dropped a new seasonal set. They've got some pretty nice looking shirts on there. They redone the support your local wrestler to where it has the, I think the enforcer looking boots or some shit. They're red and white. It's really cool. I think I'm going to have to buy me a new one. But go over and check out collarandelbowbrand.com. Code CCWA will save you some money and it'll help us out with our podcast. I'm not going to beg you to go buy a damn shirt, but I'm going to tell you, if you don't go buy a damn shirt, you're not a friend. I'm on a roll. Come on, guys. Be friendly. Go buy a damn t-shirt and help us out. Help Al Snow out. Or get on here and donate some damn money so we can help out some charities and so we can buy some new equipment so we can make this podcast better. We want to make some more intros and edit some more stuff. Speaking of making things interesting, what the hell kind of cage is that on this shit that we're watching?
I don't know. Go ahead and finish up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. That was a hell of an interview with the new effing show, Jerry Lynn. For Titanic, I am Gabriel Devine. Thanks for listening to Wrestling with the Locals.